Welcome in everybody to another lesson. Today we are going to solve algebraic equations that involve adding and subtracting. So what do I mean by that exactly? You have an equation of this type here where you simply have the variable plus some constant equal to another constant on the other side. So we have y plus 7 equals 21. Well, of course, the idea is to get y by itself, get the variable by itself. So what you're going to have to do, since you have plus 7, you got to do minus 7. So what we'll do is y plus 7 minus 7, we'll set that equal to 21. But what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So we subtracted 7 from the left side. We got to subtract it from the right side also. So now 7 minus 7 is 0. You'll just have y by itself. You'll have y plus 0, which is just y. That's going to be equal to 21 minus 7, which is 14. So therefore, the value of y equals 14. And I got plenty more where that came from. What's the next one? Alright, we have x plus 5 equals 18. So yeah, we have x plus 5 equals 18. Well, the goal is to get x by itself. So what we have to do with the plus 5, we got a minus 5 to get rid of that 5. So you'll do x plus 5 minus 5. Now, what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So you'll have set that equal to 18 minus 5. Since you subtracted 5 from the left side, you got to subtract it from the right side. So 5 minus 5 is 0. You'll have x plus 0, which is just x. X will be equal to 18 minus 5. Well, that's 13. So the value of x for this equation would be 13. And you can plug these answers back in. If you plug 13 in for x, you would get 13 plus 5 equals 18, which is a true statement. So that's how you can check to know if your answer is right. Alright, how about this one? M plus 10 equals negative 2. So we have m plus 10 equals negative 2. Well, of course, the goal is to get m by itself. You have plus 10, so you'll need to minus 10 to get the m by itself. So you do m plus 10 minus 10 would be equal to negative 2 minus 10, because what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So 10 minus 10 is 0. You'll have m plus 0, which is just m. M will be equal to negative 2 minus 10. Negative 2 minus 10, that's negative 12. So the value for m is negative 12. That's the answer you would get, is negative 12. Alright, now we have x plus 5 equals negative 3. Of course, the goal is get x by itself. So we have plus 5. We need to minus 5 in order to get x by itself. So you'll have x plus 5 minus 5 would be equal to negative 3 minus 5, because, again, what you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other to make it equal. So 5 minus 5 is 0. That would just leave x by itself. X would equal negative 3 minus 5, which would be negative 8. So the value of x in this equation is, in fact, negative 8. Alright. Let's see. How about we have 9 equals 10 plus b. So you may also see variable equations written this way. If you want to, since you have an equality here, you got an equality, you can switch these around, make it where 10 plus b equals 9. Okay? And then by the commutative property, you can move b and 10 around to make it where b plus 10 equals 9. So, of course, I wrote the equation as it was, and then since 9 is equal to 10 plus b, we can change it around to say 10 plus b equals 9. It would be the exact same thing. Then I use the commutative property to put the variable first, make it where b plus 10 equals 9. By the commutative property of addition, you can do that. So now we have b, we want to get b by itself. Well, we have plus 10, so we need a minus 10. So what you'll do is b plus 10 minus 10 would be equal to 9 minus 10. Because again, I'm going to emphasize it again, what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. We subtracted 10 from the left side, we got to do it to the right side too. So 10 minus 10 is 0, which would just leave b by itself. We'll set that equal to, what is 9 minus 10? Well, that'd be negative 1. So b would actually equal negative 1 for this answer. So if you see the equation backwards, you can just reverse the order and put one side equal to the other, and then you can use a commutative property to put the variable first, if that helps you. Alright. Now how about if we had something like this? K minus 6 equals 13. So we have k minus 6 equals 13. Of course, like before, you want to get the variable by itself. Well, you have minus 6. What you can do is you can add 6. If you have minus 6, you'll plus 6 to get rid of that negative 6. So you'll do k minus 6 plus 6 would equal 13. Now what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Since you added 6 to the left side, you'll have to add 6 to the right side. So negative 6 plus 6 is 0. You'll just have k by itself. That'll be equal to, what's 13 plus 6? Well, that's 19. So the value for k would actually be 19. That'd be your answer to this equation, 19. Alright, we have r minus 5 equals 10. So we got r minus 5 equals 10. Of course, the goal is to get r by itself, get that variable r by itself. What you have to do, since you have minus 5, you'll have to plus 5 to get rid of that minus 5. You'll have to add a plus 5. So r minus 5 plus 5. And since we did it to the left side, we got to do it to the right side. So that would equal 10 plus 5. Right? Now negative 5 plus positive 5, that's 0. So that would just leave r by itself. R would equal, what's 10 plus 5? That'd be 15. So r would happen to equal 15 in this case. Alright. So we have x minus 6 equals negative 2. Well, of course, we want to get x by itself. Well, we have a minus 6. If we have a minus 6, we need to plus 6 to get rid of that minus 6. So you'll do x minus 6 plus 6 will be equal to negative 2, then plus 6 because you did it to the left side, therefore you got to do it to the right side. So now you have negative 6 plus 6, which is 0. You would just get x by itself, which would give you negative 2 plus 6, which we know to be positive 4. So your answer to this would be positive 4. X would be 4. What's next? Alright, so we got y minus 49 equals negative 13. So y minus 49 equals negative 13. Of course, we want to get y by itself. That's the goal. In order to be able to solve for y, we got to get that by itself. We got to get rid of that negative 49 that's here. In order to get rid of negative 49, we got to add a positive 49. So what you'll do is y minus 49 plus positive 49 will be equal to negative 13 plus positive 49. Since we did it to the left side, we got to do it to the right side. So you'll have negative 49 plus 49, that's 0. That just leaves y by itself. So y is equal to, what's negative 13 plus 49? Well, that would just be 36. So the answer to y would be positive 36, or just 36. Alright, I'd like to do a couple more. Yes, let's see. Negative 8 equals t minus 4. Negative 8 equals t minus 4. Well, since these are equal, you can just switch it around to be t minus 4 equals negative 8. It means the exact same thing. Now we have it in a way we can understand it here. Since we have t minus 4, we want to get the t by itself. We have minus 4, it means we need to add plus 4. So you'll have t minus 4 plus 4 is equal to negative 8 plus 4. Since we did that to the left side, we got to do it to the right. So negative 4 plus 4, that's 0, leaving t by itself. T is equal to negative 8 plus 4, which would happen to be negative 4. So the answer to t would be negative 4. Okay. Then we have 23 plus y equals 14. Well, by the commutative property of addition, we can switch the 23 plus y around to make it y plus 23 equals 14. So now you have y plus 23. The goal is to get y by itself. You have plus 23, so you need to minus 23. So y plus 23 minus 23 would happen to equal 14 minus 23. Okay, so now you have 23 minus 23, that's 0, which would just leave y by itself. Now what's 14 minus 23? Well, that's going to be negative 9. So y equals negative 9. That would be the answer. Alright, I think I got one more problem here. One more. So 59 equals s plus 90. 59 equals s plus 90. Since these are equal, we can write it as s plus 90 equals 59. Okay? So now we got it in a way we can understand. What you can do now, you want to get s by itself, you have plus 90, so you need to minus 90. So you'll have s plus 90 minus 90 equals 59 minus 90. Since we subtract a 90 from the left side, we do it to the right side. So 90 minus 90 is 0, just leaving s by itself. So s would equal 59 minus 90, which turns out to be negative 31. So the answer to s is it's negative 31 for this. So really, all these type of problems are just simply you have the variable, you want to get it by itself. If it's a variable plus a number, you just need to subtract that number from the variable, which subtracting is part of what's called the additive inverse property. The additive inverse, let's write that down here. the additive inverse property. We got the additive inverse property, which states that if you have any number, you have a positive number, you can add the negative of that number, which would give you 0, or simply, since it's plus negative, you just subtract that same number, you get 0. Right? Or, let's say you have the negative of a number, all you have to do is add that number, the positive of that number, you'll get 0. So that's the additive inverse property. So that comes into play in these types of equations. If you have a variable plus a number, you'll simply subtract that number to get the variable by itself. If you have a variable minus a number, you're going to add a positive of that same number to get the variable by itself, to make it 0, to get the variable by itself. And really, that's all there is to it. So next lesson, we're going to do these type of problems, but it's going to involve multiplication and division. So I hope everyone has a good night. Take care.